Hi, and welcome to Pet Pals. Every week we showcase animals that are available for adoption through the Frederick County Division of Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center. I'm Linda Shea, Division Director. With me is longtime volunteer Randy Cooper, and the other star of the show this morning is Getty. Getty, as you can tell, is very affectionate. He is a little over a year old, and he is a dachshund of sort. He is on the larger size. He's about 30 pounds. So traditionally, dachshunds are very small. We know that Getty was purchased off the internet originally as a puppy. So we don't know his pedigree, we don't know his genetics, but he's definitely much larger in size, almost a beagle size, than what we would consider a dachshund. But he has the definitely the structure and the outline of a dachshund, especially his nose and the way his front legs kind of bow out. He was turned into the shelter, previously owned. His owners were moving out of state, and they were moving to a place that didn't allow pets. So through no fault of his own, as most of our owner surrender animals are that are placed up for adoption, he's here with us looking for a new home. At a year old, he is still very energetic, and as we explained and as he demonstrated quite well, very affectionate with people. He's a little shy in the shelter environment, so anytime you're visiting any of our animals, we strongly encourage that if you're interested in adopting them, that you get them out of the cage. A lot of times what animals portray, whether it's dogs, cats, bunnies, rodents, is not necessarily their real personality. So if you get them out of their cage, they're more likely to be very animated, more likely to interact with you well. And as you can see, Getty definitely responds to positive reinforcement, likes to be with people. He's kind of claimed Randy's feet at the moment and responsive to treats. So those are all good things, and those are all positive reinforcement. So when you're training a dog or when you're getting to know a dog, if you've got treats available, if you speak with kind words, if you give a lot of positive reinforcement for good behavior and kind of ignore the bad, that's the best way to make friends with a new animal. So again, this is Getty. He's our dachshund. He is about a year and 2 months old. And he is ready for adoption. So these little guys are what we have considered a bonded pair, meaning that these dogs came in together. They have predominantly lived their whole lives together, and it would be an absolute shame to separate them at this point in their lives. So the little cute one closer to me is Lexi. She's a girl. And the taller one that Randy is petting, that is Buddy, and he's a boy. They are both altered, so she is spayed and he is already neutered. She's about 9 years old and he is about 8 years old. And looks like Buddy came from our shelter a while back when he was much younger, and Lexi came from a friend. So they have lived in the same home. They are used to the same environment. They are considered seniors, even though they're not old. They are senior in age, so they would qualify for not only a senior pet discount, but a multi-pet discount because they must be adopted together. So they are already spayed and neutered. We've brought them up to speed on vaccines. They are already microchipped, and we would register that information for their new adopters. And they would probably do best obviously together, but in a home that is familiar with little dogs or small breeds. Sometimes young children can be very enthusiastic about pulling tails and ears and picking up. So with Lexi especially, she's a little bit overweight, so she will need somebody to manage her food. And then Buddy is very enthusiastic about life in general. You can see he's just a happy guy. They have both been socialized really well. They do well with strangers. They're doing well with handling. They are certainly acclimating well to the camera, which some animals can get very shy about. So socially, they're in good shape. We have brought them up to speed health-wise, medically, with everything that they need. Both of these dogs have tested negative for the test that we do for each and every canine here. So they tested negative for heartworm, negative for Lyme, negative for Ehrlichia, and negative for anaplasma. Those are four things that we test for in our canines. So Lexi is about 11 pounds. She might do better at being about 8 pounds, and that would be done with discussion with your veterinarian, measuring her food, making sure that her blood work looks okay and there's nothing else creating that weight issue. You also want to manage when you've got two dogs and you're feeding them together. You want to make sure that Buddy would be getting his fair portion of whatever food is put down, or even feeding them in crates separately can help with managing that. But these guys are our current senior pair, and again, they're bonded, so they need to go together. I know some folks come in and they only want one dog. We have many single dogs available, but these guys will get adopted together. So if you're interested in adopting, we encourage you to come to the shelter and visit. So if we think back to the last two dogs we looked at, Lexi and Buddy, Lexi was 11 pounds and Buddy was about 18 pounds. So here on the other end of the spectrum, we've got Bear, and I will let you guess as to how much he weighs, and I'll tell you in a short while. But Bear is about 6 years old. He was previously owned. He is already neutered, and he is microchipped. We brought him up to speed on vaccines, so he's current on all those and would make, he's just a good dog, a great pet. He's got a great personality, great temperament. And unfortunately, he was turned in, his family lost their home. And so due to circumstances beyond their control, obviously to take care of themselves, could not take him along. So, but he is another dog, another good example of a dog that's really well socialized. Nothing really agitates him. He is easy to handle despite his large size. He actually lived with the two dogs that we just looked at. So he's got small dog experience. So he actually lived with Lexi and Buddy. And he is described by his owners as playful, energetic, friendly. We found that all to be true. And it looks like he barks at cats, but he lays down when they come by. So it sounds like he's just a gentle giant. So again, Bear is here due to no fault of his own, but his owner's circumstances just changed. So if you're guessing, he's a little bit overweight, could probably do well with maybe 15 pounds less. But again, anytime you want to incorporate weight loss with your pet, talk to your veterinarian. Your veterinarian is going to be able to make that happen safely. You can't starve an animal. You can't put them on a crash diet. That's entirely unsafe. So you want to talk to your vet. You want to talk to your vet about what type of food your pet is getting, if it's appropriate or not. The volume, so measuring your food your pet's food is a good step in reducing whatever that amount is, and then just monitoring their exercise and overall health and blood work. If you drop their food too quickly, that's not going to be good for any of their levels. So Bear currently is 129 pounds. So big baby, sweet dog, easy to handle from the perspective of being social. But you want to make sure if you introduce a dog this size into your family that you are prepared for some things that just inherently come with big dogs. They can be in your way sometimes, they can knock stuff over, they can reach the coffee table where your favorite bud vase might be sitting. So there's a lot of things to think about. But this is Bear. As a 6-year-old, he also qualifies for a senior pet discount. Doesn't mean he's worth less. It just means that we offer that as an incentive to get him adopted as an older dog. But very sweet boy. If you're interested, again, we encourage you to come in and visit him firsthand. So this little girl is Lola. She is one of quite a number of bunnies that we have at the moment, and she's a New Zealand mix. She was originally purchased from a breeder. The owner had her for a couple of years, and now the owner is going off to college and has been unable to place Lola and unable, obviously, to take her with her to college. So Lola's here now. She is due for a vet visit. You can notice she should be white, and she's white in fur, but she has some staining on her from the male that she was housed with. When you put a male and a female bunny together, that marking behavior can come out in the male. So we're going to make sure that we send her off to safely be sedated and then properly bathed so we can get her back to a clean white fur that she should be instead of this yellow staining that you're seeing. But she's about 2.5 years old. One of the things with bunnies you need to know is that they are prey animals. So as with any domestic animal that you choose to take into your family, you need to protect them. You need to make sure that they're safe. You need to make sure that even if you have other household pets, like dogs or cats that may be very interested in your bunny, you want to make sure that they are in a housing unit that is safe and cat-proof, dog-proof, and when you let them out of that housing unit, that you supervise properly. Bunnies cannot live entirely in cages. So they can be in cages when you're not home, but they do need exercise outside the cage. They also need to experience different textures of carpeting, of flooring. Bunnies need enrichment, and just the lay term or the lay definition of enrichment is toys, things that keep their mind stimulated. Bunnies like boxes. If you visit the shelter, you will be able to see some good examples of what proper enrichment is. They have things to chew on, they have toys to play with, they've got boxes to hide in, they have different carpet square textures that they can walk on, and certainly proper nutrition. So many times people that are unfamiliar with bunnies think that they can survive only on carrots, and that is totally incorrect. We always refer people to the House Rabbit Society website. That is a great resource for everything bunny related, from feeding to housing to vet care to the frequently asked questions of should I include a bunny in my family, which is always a good place to start. But this is Lola. Again, she's about 2.5 years old, our New Zealand mix, and looking for a forever home. We are going to go ahead and take a short break. When we come back, we'll take a look at some of our cats and kittens that are looking for forever families.
Getting your flu vaccine is the best way to prevent getting the flu and possible complications from the flu. People most susceptible to the flu include children 5 years old or younger, people 65 years or older, pregnant women, people with health issues such as asthma, diabetes, and heart disease, and people who take medication that might weaken the immune system. If you have the flu or want to avoid getting the flu, here are some pointers. Cover your cough and sneeze with your arm, or use a tissue and wash your hands. Wash your hands with soap and water. If not available, use a hand sanitizer. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Avoid being around sick people. Stay home from school or work if you are sick until you are free of a fever for 24 hours. Contact your healthcare provider if you are sick. To learn more about the flu, please call the Health Department Flu Information Line at 301-600-3035 or visit frederickcountymd.gov/flu.
The Frederick County Department of Aging is proud to announce a new initiative that is designed to streamline the application process for several benefit programs that assist older adults and persons with disabilities. This information and assistance event is a partnership of the Frederick County Department of Aging, the Maryland Food Bank, and the Frederick County Department of Social Services. One day per month at each of the county's senior centers, the Department of Aging will host representatives to assist with the Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program application, formerly known as food stamps, and the Energy Assistance application. Also on hand will be the Senior Health Insurance Program Coordinator, who will answer Medicare questions and screen for Medicare subsidy programs. These events will begin at 10 a.m. and take place at the Frederick, Urbana, Emmitsburg, and Brunswick Senior Centers. Appointments are encouraged, walk-ins are welcome. For more information, to make an appointment, or in case of inclement weather, please call the Frederick County Department of Aging at 301-600-3520.
Did you know that paper towels, as well as disposable cups, plates, and cutlery, are not recyclable? Not even styrofoam coffee cups or fast food soda cups that may have a so-called recycling symbol stamped on the bottom. In our region, there is no market for these materials to be sold and made into new products, so please leave them out of your recycling cart or bin. Better yet, whenever possible, try to use reusable cups and servingware. More information on recycling and waste reduction can be found online, on our mobile app, or by calling our office. Thanks for helping Frederick County recycle right.
Welcome back to Pet Pals. Now we're going to take a look at some of our cats and kittens that are looking for forever homes. First up is Charlie, and he's a little bit camera shy, so we're not going to belabor his introduction, but he is about 1.5 years old. He was adopted from the shelter and then brought back to the shelter. The owners were describing him not using the litter box, and so often with that, sometimes we don't know the whole entire story. You want to make sure that when you have a cat in your home that you're changing the litter box every day at least, that you're providing a clean environment. Remember, they have to plant all 4 feet in order to use the litter box. You also want to make sure that if you have other cats in the house that the one particular cat with an issue is not getting ambushed. You want to put the litter box somewhere out of the mainstream of traffic, where it's a little quiet, a little private, and again where they won't be interrupted. So we have, when cats come into the shelter, we observe them for litter box issues. We have little blue observation cards that we put out to make sure that they're not exhibiting poor behavior. And then obviously after we've established that they're good with their litter box, we make them available for adoption. So Charlie's available for adoption. He has tested negative for feline leukemia and FIV. He is current on all vaccines and deworming. He is already neutered and microchipped, so he would make for a relatively quicker adoption. And he's on the large side at almost 11 pounds. So if you are interested in a cream tabby, that's a juvenile, about 1.5 years old, Charlie would be a good choice. So this sweet girl is Betty. Betty of today's show, she's the only animal that came to us as a stray animal. So she came in from Rocky Ridge Road back a couple of weeks ago. So we named her Betty. She is a domestic medium hair. So she would do well in a home that knows their way around a brush and a vacuum cleaner. But very sweet personality, very sweet temperament. We have gone ahead and brought her up to speed on vaccines, on preventatives, deworming, and so forth. We also have snap tested her for feline leukemia, feline immunodeficiency virus, as we do with all of our felines, and she has tested negative for both of those. So those viruses are important to know about in case you're introducing her to your family and your family already has existing cats. It's good to know the virus status of all of your cats in the family. Betty is about 8 pounds, a little over 8 pounds, just a few ounces beyond 8 pounds. So she is in good proportion, good shape. We have her estimated at 1 to 2 years old. So the joy of a cat this age is that you have bypassed all the nonsense of kittenhood and you have moved into the personality that's being established as an adult. So as you can tell, she is very agreeable to being held, being handled. She is not in the least bit camera shy, and she's got a gorgeous coat. So she's in overall good health. Here at the shelter, we feed a combination of dry and canned food for our cats to kind of give it what we call a mouse texture. But she has done a great job. She has become very quickly, just in the short time she's been here, a volunteer and a staff favorite. And I think part of that is just her demeanor. She is very social, very friendly, and very calm. So Betty would absolutely do well in any home. Certainly we have an adoption interview process that you would go through to talk about introducing her. We recommend any new pet to your family be isolated for 10 to 14 days just to give them a chance to acclimate. But you can tell with Betty she wouldn't have any problems acclimating. Again, very gentle, very confident, and interested in her environment. So if you're looking for sort of a lap cat that's on the younger side, Betty would be a great choice. So this little girl is Lefty. She was turned in by her owner. The living circumstances changed. Somebody new was moving into the home, and that new person has allergies to cats. So Lefty is here with us looking to be adopted. She's about 4 years old. She was with her previous family since she was a kitten. We've brought her up to speed on vaccines, deworming, preventatives, tested her negative for leukemia and FIV. She is a little over 11 pounds, so she's on the large side of being a cat. The average cat is somewhere between 8 and 9 pounds, but that depends on their skeletal frame, their structure. Sometimes if they're purebred, they're breeds. Some are more petite than others. So Lefty is just a little bit on the larger side of what you might expect for an average sized cat. We color code our pets here, and that's in an effort to allow adopters as much information to make an informed decision about adoption. We've got Lefty color coded green, meaning that she is a little, not less social, but a little less comfortable with being handled and held. If you're looking for a lap cat, she would not be a good choice. But if you're looking for a younger cat that's got great personality, a little more independent, and beautiful to look at. She's got just stunning, the tortoiseshell colors, the blended orange and black. She's gorgeous, and she's got great fur. She's just in good health. She would be a good choice. We have already microchipped her. She is already spayed, and again came in because her family, the living situation had changed. Looks like she is described by her family as being calm, able to handle, sometimes at times afraid of strangers, and I think that is just a generalized statement across the board. All animals at some point are afraid of somebody. We have had no issues with her though in the shelter, and the shelter is a really challenging environment for any species. The exception might be puppies. Puppies seem to just flow right in and become adapted really quickly, so that's not unusual. She loves her laser pointers and chasing string, and prior to coming in here, her family did try to rehome her, but they were unsuccessful. So if you're looking for a younger adult cat, that's a great fit for your family. If you've got cat experience, Lefty would be a great choice. So this little girl is Addison. She is just one of the many kittens that we have in our shelter. We also have kittens that are still in foster care. As we get into September and October, that population lessens, but nonetheless right now we've got kittens coming back pretty much on a weekly basis. So if you have your heart set on a kitten and you don't see one that's in the shelter at the time, just keep checking, check online. You're welcome to come visit on a regular basis because they do come back. Usually with foster care kittens, we know when they're coming back, but before they come back and get put on the adoption floor, we weigh them. We want to make sure they're at least 3 pounds, and even if they're a few ounces shy of that, we may choose to send them back into foster care for another week or so until they're actually available. So sometimes it gets difficult to gauge when exactly we'll have a larger kitten population. So again, I just encourage you to keep checking. Addison came to us previously owned. She is about 4.5 to 5 months old. And the reason that she came to us, she and her brother, which you'll see in a minute, Aiden, were brought to us from someone who acquired the kittens from a friend and then was unable to take care of them financially. So that is a consideration whenever you're going to introduce a pet into your family. Make sure you can afford them. It goes beyond providing them love and attention and cat chow. They do need preventative vaccines. They do need enrichment. Sometimes they get sick. With Addison, she did have a bout of diarrhea, which we have treated with medication and diet. So that can be expensive if you have a pet in your family that needs medical attention and you don't have the resources to provide vet care. That can be difficult. So you want to make sure that you give that consideration. It does go way beyond just providing food. Vet care is an important component of any pet that you have in your family, whether they're domestic or exotic. So, but this is Addison, just one of many kittens. The diarrhea is resolved. She is healthy and happy and ready to go to a forever home. This little guy is Aiden. He is sibling to Addison, who we just looked at. Aiden is a little boy. He's a cream tabby, about 4.5 to 5 months old, and has had the same history as Addison. He was brought in, the family acquired him with his sister as younger kittens, and and just realized that they couldn't take care of them. So they did the right thing by bringing them here, so we are able to place them properly, provide appropriate vet care. We find that so many people sometimes struggle. They will have a pet in their family in Frederick County. They are unable to take care of it in some fashion, and you know, sometimes they don't reach out for help. So what we encourage people to do, if you have a pet in your family and you're struggling with one sense or another, for example, if you can't afford to feed your pet, but you're able to keep it otherwise, we have a pet food bank. There are criteria. Your pet needs to be current on a rabies vaccine, county license, and must be spayed or neutered to pull from our food bank. But if you have all that criteria met, we can provide you food to keep your pet. If you need to get your pet spayed or neutered at low cost, or even for free, because we have a couple of grants now for Frederick County residents experiencing financial hardship, we can provide that information to you. If you have a pet in your family that needs a rabies vaccine and a license at low cost, we have workshop or clinics that are coming up throughout the county, not necessarily through animal control, but we have a comprehensive list of other places like the health department that also provide that service. So if you have a pet and you have a problem and you have a question about it, contact the shelter as a resource. Even if we can't help you directly through our shelter, we can provide you resources and contact information for people that can. And again, I'll just remind everybody that if you are experiencing financial hardship, if you are on a government-funded program, if you are a senior citizen and you have a pet that needs to be spayed or neutered, a cat that needs to be spayed or neutered, we have grant money available to get that done at either low cost or, in the case of cats, for free. So contact the shelter and we're happy to give you that information. In the meantime, we've got Aiden, we've got Addison, we've got Lefty, we've got Charlie, we've got the other cats in the building that are looking for forever homes. So in order to help them, you can come adopt them if you can. The other way you can help them is if you have cats already, get them spayed and neutered so they're not producing extras. In the meantime, these guys are here looking for forever homes. We thank you for joining us on Pet Pals today. Have a great week and we'll see you next time.
Hi, I'm Tracy and this is Catherine. We are Frederick County 911 dispatchers and we're here to tell you what to expect when dialing 911.
We're on the line to listen, and we also have important instructions to give you. Your 911 operator needs to get essential information from you as quickly as possible by asking the following questions in this order.
What is the address of the emergency so we can send the right help to the right location? What is the phone number you're calling from? If the line disconnects, we may need to call you back. What is your name so we can address you properly? And tell me exactly what happened. Asking these questions allows operators to start dispatch to emergencies quickly.
Your 911 operator is often working closely with one or more dispatchers, obtaining important information which is relayed to responders who are on the way to your location while you are still on the phone.
This process is repeated on each call to ensure responders get to each emergency as quickly and safely as possible with the right information to provide the best service they can.
Law enforcement, fire and rescue, and other responders rely on 911 operators and dispatchers to obtain specific information that varies with each type of call. Sometimes it may seem as though your 911 operator is asking a series of unnecessary questions, but in fact this information is vital for getting the right help sent to the right place. Often, help is already on the way while your 911 operator is talking to you.
While emergency crews are responding, dispatchers continue to provide them with updated information gathered by your 911 operator.
Also, your 911 operator may be able to provide you with important life-saving direction, from how to safely exit a building on fire to CPR instruction, providing important information for staying safe and out of danger during a vehicle accident, as well as helping a caller deliver a baby.
For more information, visit frederickcountymd.gov/911 or call the non-emergency number at 301-600-1603.